Michael, how are you?
I found something really interesting.
The whole housing market is propped up on these bad loans. They will fail.
The housing market is rock solid.
It's a time bomb.
So Mike Burry, who gets his hair cut at Supercuts and doesn't wear shoes, knows more than Alan Greenspan.
Dr. Mike Burry, yes, he does.
Hello everyone, welcome to Everyone's Critic. This is Spencer Fawcett, and I'm going to be talking about The Big Short. The Big Short is the story of the housing market collapse in the late 2000s, and a few outsiders who saw it coming before it happened, and who tried to sort of warn people about it. No one would listen, and then once it happened, there was no protection, and it's very interesting and very smart, so let's take a look.
You know what? I'm pissed off. American people are getting screwed by the big banks. And I am getting madder and madder.
It's unbelievable.
Then this guy walks into my office and says,
there's some shady stuff going down. All the banks were having a big old party. A few outsiders saw what no one else could. The whole world economy might collapse.
I'm sure the world's banks have more incentives than greed. You're wrong.
No one's paying attention.
The banks got greedy, and we can profit off of their stupidity.
You want to bet against the banks?
I think we're either high or having a stroke. Kind of brilliant.
Fraud has never ever worked. Eventually, things go south. When the hell did we forget all that?
How can the banks let this happen?
It's fueled by stupidity.
But that's not stupidity, that's fraud.
Tell me the difference between stupid and illegal, and I'll have my wife's brother arrested.
You have any idea what you just did? You just bet against the American economy.
If you're wrong, you can lose it all. The banks defrauded the American people. Now we can kick them in the teeth.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so I like this movie a lot. I find it very intriguing at times, and then I find it very confusing at times. What I do like about this movie, though, is it kind of dumbs it down for people. In interesting ways, in creative ways. It has ways of explaining things that an average Joe or a kid wouldn't know otherwise, and I like that a lot. I think that's a very smart and creative choice for this movie, and I give it points for that. It's very, very clever. The performances in this movie are incredible. Four main stars in this movie: Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt. They all nail it like you'd expect from them. Four of the best actors out there. If I had to say who steals it for me, I would have to either go with Steve Carell, who's great as always. He's very funny and very devastating at the same time. He has a tricky past. He's not a very likable character, but he's very funny in this movie, as you'd expect, but like not in the way that Steve Carell's normally funny. He's definitely shown some versatility in these last few years, and this is still another nuanced performance from him, and he's very good in this. My other performance that I really liked was Ryan Gosling, as he's kind of like a Gordon Gekko type. He's smarmy and cocky, and he's playing a good Ryan Gosling character. And he was very good in this movie. I think I kind of favor Steve Carell between the two of them, but they're both very good. Christian Bale was nominated for an Oscar for this movie, though, and I kind of think that accolade belonged to Steve Carell, because I think he's better, but Christian Bale it's a more subtle performance, a more subdued performance, and I like that the Academy appreciated that acting, because a lot of the times the Academy favors over-the-top performances. Not saying that Steve Carell's performance was over-the-top, but they like the more showy performances and the actors who yell in their movies, and I like that they kind of went with Christian Bale. He yelled in maybe 1 or 2 scenes, but he was a very quiet character, so that was cool. Screenplay in this movie is very good. Like I said, with how it dumbs it down for regular people, that was very clever. It was done very well. Great dialogue here, very smart, thorough explanations that weren't always too tricky for people. Sometimes they were too tricky for me, but maybe I'm an idiot, who knows. But that's that. Another topic to discuss in a later review. But yeah, very good screenplay. It won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. It's adapted from a book by Michael Lewis, I think. Very, very good. Directed, very well directed. It's directed by Adam McKay, who did a lot of Will Ferrell comedies, especially the ones with John C. Reilly. This is definitely new territory for him, and he nailed it. He also co-wrote it and shared the Oscar with the other writer, and he was nominated for Best Director, so it was kind of new for him, and he did very well with it. This is an entertaining movie. Sometimes it can get tricky, can get confusing, can get a little boring sometimes, but overall, it's very fun to watch at some points. Then it's very devastating because, you know, this really happened. You see how it affects people. People lose their money, and that's not very easy to watch, but it's intriguing to watch. So that was done very well in this movie. Rewatchability, I don't know. Maybe if you didn't understand some of the things, maybe if you're just entertained, maybe if you're just captivated by the performances, which is likely to happen because they're great performances, then maybe you should rewatch it. I've seen it a couple times. I'll probably see it a few more. So overall, very good. The story's interesting. True story, really happened. I feel is probably a story that people were waiting to get a good movie on, and this movie delivers on that. It is the movie that the story deserves. So overall, very, very good stuff, and I give it an 8.8. You should check it out if you can. Very good. Hopefully you won't be as confused with it as I was, but that's that. So maybe check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you.